Deputy Omtatah.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to contribute to this motion, which I support, but with a few comments. Among my comments, I will start off where my good brother, Senator Soti, was going to but stopped short. Mr. Speaker, we are dealing with a design problem that cannot be solved with a lot of English. Yes, my county has been allocated some good money, and every month end it is supposed to receive, every mid-month it's supposed to receive some about 630,000 shillings. It has been allocated 7.956 billion for the year 2025-2026. Now, the problem is with the national treasury is a design problem. The Constitution never anticipated or expected that the national treasury to be a ministry of the national government. The national treasury was supposed to be autonomous so that it can serve all the 48 governments, the national government and the 47 county governments equitably and equally. But because the National Treasury is a ministry headed by a cabinet secretary and headed by a principal who is assisted by the principal secretary and the departments there, that's basically how Section 11 of the Public Finance Management Act defines the National Treasury. That is in contradiction with Article 225, Clause 1 of the Constitution, which clearly requires that the National Treasury shall be set up by an Act of Parliament, or an Act of Parliament shall provide for the National Treasury. To underscore that, if you go to Article 152, 1D, it clearly says that we shall have not fewer than 14 cabinet secretaries and not more than 22 cabinet secretaries. Not less than 14 and not more than 22. Much later on, in 225, is when the National Treasury is being set up. There's nowhere it was anticipated that the National Treasury would be part of the national government. That it will be headed by a cabinet secretary and a minister, and a cabinet secretary and a principal secretary appointed by the president and who serve at the pleasure of the president, who have no security of tenure. And you have heard the president say that, I have given counties money. How? Whose money can he give to counties? He can't give counties money. We must get the institution right. We must create an independent treasury as anticipated and have an independent treasurer, a professional who has security of tenure, who is competitively recruited, he can't be fired, and that man will ensure that the law is dealt with. We shall stop lamenting about the late disbursement of funds to county governments. Even the corruption we are talking about, we also need a similar institution at the county government. We must take the money away from the governor. The idea of having an imperial governor at the county and an imperial president at the national level is what we should be fighting in this house. We must ensure the separation of powers. The executive power should remain with the president, but the power of the purse should go back to parliament and be vested in three institutions. That's parliament itself, which does the budget, the control of budget, who oversees the budget, and the national treasurer, who then disburses funds in a professional manner, not according to political whims. The same structure should be there at the county government. We must slay the imperial governor, take money away from the governor and invest it in an independent county treasurer who cannot be fired by the governor, who is competitively recruited, and who serves the public, not an individual. That way we shall protect money. That particular person will be able to ensure that there are no pending bills. Because pending bills are unconstitutional. They should not be there. And pending bills are not a public debt. That's something we should also clarify. Article 214 of the Constitution is very clear on what constitutes a public debt. And that article gives it very clearly that public debt is a charge on the consolidated fund, but an act of parliament shall provide for charging all that. Now, part 2 of 214 clearly defines what a public debt is. For the purpose of this article, the public debt means all financial obligations attendant to loans raised or guaranteed and securities issued or guaranteed by the national government. That alone says that a county government has got no capacity to incur a public debt. So a pending bill cannot be a public debt, and that's why I want to depart with the motion that we passed in this House that was saying that pending bills should be the first charge on the county revenue fund. They are not public debts, because the public debt is clearly defined in the Constitution. And I agree with the Control of Budget for not agreeing with the motion we passed in this House, because that motion was unconstitutional, null and void. The motion saying that we should, the motion Honorable Olekina Ladema moved in this House, the Senator for Narok, that motion was unconstitutional, null and void, because it failed to understand the concept of a public debt. And so,
Senator Olekina, what's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, sometimes when I listen to my good friend E-procurement, I really wish that he went to law school and not just practice law outside and not having gone to really understand the role of Parliament. Parliament pronounces itself through motions or bills. So is the good senator in order to suggest that this Parliament will pass unconstitutional motions, or this Parliament will not pronounce itself? Then what else are we doing here? You know, sometimes it confuses me whether we know the work that we are doing in this Parliament. If we're in this Parliament, we are here to convince each other. You know, we have two sides of the aisle. So I really hope that you can find the good senator out of order, because this Parliament does not pass motions which are unconstitutional. We have a secretariat, Mr. Speaker, that advises. So in fact, it's like saying the work that the secretariat do in this Parliament, they are not competent. You
Well,
can't.
Senator Olekina, you've made your point.
It's completely uncouth to actually suggest that this Parliament can pass laws which are unconstitutional or motions
You
that
have
are
made your point. Just a point of clarification before I give directions on it. If you followed the argument by Senator Okoiti, in the context of a motion that was moved, he indicated that he would depart, in his opinion, with the motion. So, Senator Okoiti, you may proceed with your arguments on it.
yes, my argument is that my reading of Article 214, the one that says that a public debt shall be a first charge on the consolidated fund, goes further to clarify and define what qualifies for that public debt, not any owning. A county governor, for example, cannot go and incur a debt in a hotel and doesn't pay, and it becomes a public debt. A public debt must be a financial obligation attendant to a loan raised or guaranteed and securities issued or guaranteed by the national government. So, when we talk of pending bills, where suppliers have supplied goods and services and have not been paid, that cannot be a pending bill. That cannot be.
Proceed to raise your point of order, Senator Olekina.
Mr. Speaker, let us be factual and let us try to interpret the Constitution accordingly. County governments do not get their money from the Consolidated Fund. County government gets their money from the County Revenue Fund. What Senator Omtatah is referring to is on an issue of a public debt that has got to do with the Consolidated Fund. The Consolidated Fund deals with funds for the national government. The county government, all county governments accumulate pending bills by not paying money to suppliers. It's simple as that. I supply to a county government, it does not pay me. Every county government, Mr. Speaker, operates on a cash basis of accounting. There is an accrual basis of accounting and a cash basis of accounting. We can give accounting 101 to be able to differentiate the two. When you go to State Department, they are operating on an accrual basis because they depend on the Consolidated Fund. County governments, every financial year, the money you have, you must spend of it, then what do you call it? It's a pending bill. So let us be clear, when we interpret the Constitution, let us be clear that the Constitution, if you read Article 219 is clear. A county share of revenue means raised by the national government shall be transferred to the county without undue delay and without deduction, except when the transfer has been stopped under this article. When you go back to 217, Mr. Speaker, because this matter is very clear and we need to be clear on it. One second, Mr. Speaker. I just want to clarify something
Senator
here.
Olekina,
207.
I want to also notify you of the fact that, wait, the chair is speaking.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
I want to notify you of the fact that you've already spoken to this bill, and if you are raising an issue as regards a point of order, it is the chair to direct, and I actually was headed to direct Senator Omtatah that he should confine himself in his arguments to the schedule for the financial disbursements for the financial year 2025-2026, which you're seeking to clarify by making reference to the Constitution. Senator Omtatah?
I can just clarify because I think...
But you do not have the floor. You are raising a point of order. You've already spoken to the matter.
I'm raising, if you allow me to clarify, please, in 30 seconds.
Please do so in under 30 seconds.
Mr. Speaker, I am not speaking twice on this matter. I am clarifying a point of misleading. You cannot mislead the public. It is clear. I raised the issue on correcting what Senator Omtatah was saying. I am not speaking twice on the matter. I cannot allow such things to go on record when it is clear that the county governments get their funds from the County Revenue Fund. It is under Article 207 of the Constitution.
You've made your point, Senator Omtatah. Confine yourselves to the arguments.
Yes, I'll do so, but I think Article 206 defines what a consolidated fund is, and the county governments don't get their money from the County Revenue Fund. They use the County Revenue Fund to disperse their money. They get their money from the Consolidated Fund, because all money raised nationally are kept in the Consolidated Fund except as directed by an Act of Parliament to be kept in a different fund. And the County Revenue Fund does not receive money. The County look at Article 206. Read 206. So for me, what I was trying to say back on the motion is that we need to look at this Constitution keenly. We must not allow pending bills to become something that can burden us into the future. We spend and we implement an appropriation act at the county government. An appropriation act cannot result in you having a pending bill. And there's no way you can carry a pending bill, a bill from one act to another act without the involvement of the assembly that enacted the act. So pending bills have to be cured through a supplementary budget, but not to become a first charge on the new budget, on the new Appropriations Act passed by the Assembly. So we need to look at it, and I'm saying that one of the problems we're now having with finances in the counties, even when we disburse them, is that we have got a mechanism at the county government where the governor is an imperial animal controlling both the money and the executive power. We must address that to be able to get rid of things like pending bills, to get rid of the misappropriation of funds, and invest the money in the counties in the professionals. Let us have an independent county treasurer controlling the public money in the county. And at the national level, we must take the treasury away from the executive. The treasury cannot be a ministry of the national government. It must be an independent organ serving the 48 governments. It must also devolve, we must also slay the imperial presidency at the national level by separating the executive power from the power of the purse. The money must go back to parliament. That way we shall be adding value to the debate to try and ensure that county governments are paid on time. So that when the national treasurer does not disperse money on time, we can hold him to account. You can hold his feet to the fire and say, why haven't you done this? And when money is misappropriated, when bills are not paid at the county and work has been done, we can ask the national treasurer, the county treasurer, why have you not paid this money? But when we invest money in politicians, we end up with all the problems we are having. The funds get mismanaged. Can we put a padlock on public funds so that the law, we have all the laws we require. We just have a wrong political culture. Can we get a culture whereby we give the institutions the power they're supposed to have, get the proper designs, amend, get rid of laws like Section 11 of the Public Finance Management Act, which make the Treasury basically a cash box for the president, because the president controls the minister and the PS. And so you depend on the president to have money delivered to counties. And none other than the president has said that they have ensured money has gone to the counties. A statement that should never come out of a human being's mouth. Because the law says how the money should be disbursed to counties. And so, I really plead that we go that route. On the question of e-procurement, I'm a strong supporter of open governance. And digitalization of systems is one thing that will help us get proper open governance. So, e-procurement should go down to counties, only that we must find a way of implementing it in such a way that it is not abused, the way e-citizen has been abused. But if we do it properly, e-procurement should enable us to get to a situation, to a position whereby we are able to see procurement going on, and as it has been rightly cited by Senator Cherargei, in e-procurement we will not be able to allow, because it is transparent and open, we will not be able to allow somebody to procure a bottle of Fanta or Coca-Cola for 1,000 shillings in the open market. So, e-procurement is also something I speak to, and I support, and I plead that those opposing it should direct their energy to how do we make it successful? How do we make it succeed and serve the public and not be a bottleneck on the public? Finally, I would urge, even as we talk about these institutional reforms, nothing stops the Treasury as currently constituted, if it really has the goodwill, to go down, to bend down and be able to disperse this money as required, because there's total confusion in counties where workers are not being paid, and some workers have obligations, are exposed to bank loans and what have you, and things get very complicated. So I hope that going forward, the Treasury will see sense in obeying what the law requires, both the Constitution, in a timely disbursal of funds, and the public finance management, which gives the date of 15th of every month that the required funds should be delivered, and I pray that the 7.956 billion shillings meant for Busia will be put to proper use when His Excellency Governor Dr. Paul Nyongesa Otuoma gets this money. It will go to what it's required. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. And with those few remarks, I support the motion.
Thank you, Senator Okoiti. In your argument, I believed you made reference to the fact that